Welcome to Research Talk. In our previous videos, we have been talking about data analysis in qualitative research. We have covered many topics, such as what are some considerations that a researcher should keep in mind before they start coding the data in qualitative research. Those considerations such as making sure that you clean the transcript, the transcript, that interview transcript that you develop, making it sure that it's accurate, reading it, also de-identifying the transcript so that you remove all the identifying details before you start the data analysis to protect the identity, confidentiality of your research participants. We also talked about how coding looks like in qualitative research, what a code is. And today in this video, we will continue our conversation about what are some other key considerations that researchers should keep in mind while doing data analysis. So a very important consideration that researchers should do not before, but while doing your coding, your data analysis of a transcript, is to keep a copy of your research questions with you. So if I'm coding my transcripts in front of me, I will keep a research question just for reference so that it helps me to keep the coding process more focused. You can also keep if I'm using a theoretical framework or a conceptual framework as part of my study, it's a good idea to keep that framework, a copy of that framework, whether theoretical or conceptual, with me. And the reason I'm recommending this is because it makes your coding process more focused. So when you are reading the transcript, these research questions, theoretical conceptualization, or theoretical or conceptual framework you are using, you can think about how these are related, how these can help me in terms of what code is suitable here when you are coding the data. So that also helps you in decision making. In the context of coding, oftentimes what happens if I'm coding a particular excerpt, then I might be thinking, okay, should this particular code is more suitable here, or maybe some other code. So whenever there is some sort of confusion about what might be a suitable code, having your research questions with you, having the theoretical orientation and conceptual framework that you are using, a copy of it when you are coding is very, very helpful. It makes the process more focused and it helps you in decision making. Also, when you are doing your coding, I recommend certain things to keep in mind, sort of a researcher stance, or something that you could often ask yourself, particularly when I'm coding a transcript, interview transcript. And those questions are, what is going on here? What is happening here? So if I'm reading a transcript, let's say a paragraph, so I can ask myself, what is happening here? What is being discussed here? What is going on here? And this question will help you to come up with a good, appropriate, suitable code. And the question that you could ask yourself, keep in mind what the participant is trying to tell me, what the participant, the person being interviewed, is trying to communicate to me. What the participant is trying to tell me. And the question you could always keep in mind while coding is, what strikes me here? Meaning, when you are reading this excerpt, what really makes you think? What is something that can be highlighted here? So, whenever you are doing the coding, keep a copy of your research questions, a copy of your theoretical orientation or not theoretical orientation, theoretical framework or conceptual framework. It will help you to do the focused coding and effective decision making in terms of what might be a suitable code here. Also, thinking about what is going on here, what the participant is trying to tell me through this interview. And those things will help you decide a suitable code when you are coding your data. So that's briefly about some of the things related to, and this is more related to, I would say, interview transcript. I want to talk about here what are some of the things that you want to keep in your mind when you are coding field notes. So as you know, field notes are researchers' observations that they note down during the data collection, data analysis. So when you are talking to your research participant, when you are doing an observations, so what you are doing, you are noting down those observations from the field, and those notes are called field notes. So field notes also needed to be coded. So whenever you are coding a field note, there are certain things that are very important to keep in mind. So let's talk about what are some important ideas or things that as a researcher I should keep in mind when I am coding a field note, which includes researchers' observations from the field. So the first thing that one should ask himself, herself while coding a field note is what people are doing here, what they are trying to accomplish, what is happening here, what people are doing, and by whatever they are doing, what they are trying to accomplish. And this act of doing, what strategies or means they are. So that's another question to keep in mind when you are coding notes. Another important thing to keep in mind is how people perceive what is going on here. And when I say people, people means if I'm doing an observation in a natural setting, people are, doing something. So that's what I mean. So it could mean one person, it could mean a group of people in their natural setting. And as a researcher, I'm there doing my observations and preparing my field notes. So that's what it means here. So what people are doing here, what are they trying to accomplish? What strategies are they using to accomplish what, what, what means they are using to accomplish those? And how people perceive what is going on here. So not my perception, but the people I'm observing, what is their perception of what is going on in that natural setting? And the thing to keep in mind, what assumptions people are making here. So in your field notes, descriptive field notes, think about what assumptions that the people who are engaged in their, whatever they are doing in their natural setting, what are some assumptions that these people hold? Further, what do I see going on here? So what is my perception about what is happening here? Another consideration, what did I learn from these field notes? What I'm learning here? And another important thing to ask yourself is what I'm observing here, how this is similar or different from other observations. So as part of my research, I'm doing all these different observations. So what I'm observing here, how is it similar or different from my other observations related to this phenomenon? And finally, ask yourself, what are some broader significance of this, what is happening here? Broader significance of what is happening here. So if you are doing field observations, if you have documents that you have prepared that needed to be coded, so these are the questions that one should keep in mind, and that will help you to code your field notes. So let's recap what we learned here. First of all, when you are doing your coding, keep a copy of your research questions, your theoretical framework, your conceptual framework if you are using, and that will help you to make your coding more focused, it will help you to make good decisions about what code is suitable for the data excerpt. Further, about field notes, ask these questions, have this list of questions in front of you. What people are doing here, what are they trying to accomplish? What strategy or means they are using to accomplish what they are doing, and how people perceive what is going on. What is their perception of what is happening in that setting? What assumptions these people are holding? How do they see how do I see what is happening here? What did I learn from my field notes? And how what I'm observing here is similar or different from my prior observations? And finally, what are some broader significance of what is here in this data? So keep these questions in your mind when you are doing coding for your field notes. So that's briefly what I wanted to talk about, what one should keep in mind when doing your qualitative data analysis. I hope you like all these ideas, and I'll see you again in another video. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you.